In today's show, we look ahead to Sunday for streaming to win your Week 16 matchup. Michael Bolton.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy Basketball, your daily fantasy basketball podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd and I am the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and you can find me on Twitter as always at redrock_bball, on TikTok at redrock_bball, and on Instagram at Locked On Fantasy Basketball. Today's episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. First-time users can receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100 with the promo code Locked On. That's PrizePicks.com and the promo code is Locked On. Thank you for making Locked On Fantasy Basketball your first listen every day. We are free and available on all platforms. So, we're here to look ahead to Sunday to win your matchup, hopefully, in points leagues, in category leagues as well. So we might as well just get in and do it right now.
Let's get it on, Gilly.
All right. Yahoo Points leagues. Who are we looking to stream in for Sunday? Brandon Clark. I know it's been disappointing the last couple of games, but they have the Raptors. They don't need the big body of Xavier Tillman. I think Clark will get back into the starting lineup and play 27, 28 minutes. That could be wrong, but I think Clark will get those minutes. It also helps that Dylan Brooks, old dick puncher extraordinaire, he is suspended for a game. So does it help? I don't know. Maybe it does. But anyway, Clark I think is going to start. Got a couple of Knicks players we can look at. Isaiah Hartenstein and Quentin Grimes. We'll get more of an idea on Hartenstein for Saturday. What do they do with Sims and Hartenstein? Do they start Sims? Almost definitely. But is Sims a 27-minute night guy or a 21-minute a night guy? I have no idea what Thibodeau is going to do. Absolutely none. But we'll watch it. We'll see how it pans out. I do know that Grimes is going to get big minutes. And with few games, not many games on Sunday, those big minutes are at least worth taking that crack on, even though he's not a particularly good fantasy points league player. You got Aaron Nesmith, whose last two games have been really good. Now, one of them was on very high shooting, but yesterday's game, impressive. It wasn't high shooting. It was just good volume. He played a good role. Interesting, they just didn't play Smith, Jackson, or Duarte at all. Very weird stuff there, but Nesmith's in that rotation. He's starting and he's getting good minutes. So for now, yeah, I think we can take a look at him. If not just for Sunday, but maybe even further than that. Trey Murphy with the Pelicans, he's a solid enough scorer who's always got that upside to hit 6 or 7 threes, to bomb in, with some really good scoring numbers for fantasy points. That helps a lot. You've got old mate in Charlotte, and I know it wasn't good last game.
Oh, hi, Mark.
He played 1 minute. But what has been the pattern here with Steve Clifford, which I didn't really recognize until yesterday, is that on back-to-backs, one game he plays Williams as the backup, the other he plays Nick Richards. And then every other game, it's Mark Williams. It's like he just wants to give Richards that opportunity to stay fresh and to get some game action. Does it on the back-to-backs. Never thinks of sitting the cockroach, of course. No way he could ever sit or reduce Mason Plumlee's minutes. He's key to the future. He's key to the present. He's key to everything. He's key to life. So you can't ever do that, but you can sit Mark Williams on a back-to-back. So I think Williams will be back as the backup on Sunday. Andrew Nembhard getting all the minutes over Duarte. 2 games ago, Duarte played like 30 minutes and Nembhard played 20. So that change has been pretty wild. It's an understanding, I guess, we have now with Indiana that anything can happen. Halliburton's pretty secure. Hield's pretty secure. And then you might get 20 out of Nesmith, 30 out of Nesmith. You might get Jackson. You might get Tice. You might get Smith. You might get Duarte. You might get Nembhard. You might get McConnell. It's all over the place. Very hard to trust. But it is trending in the right direction for Nembhard. And then there's Jalen McDaniels in Charlotte, whose upside's a little bit not great. That's terrible English. But it's not particularly high. But Oubre's out. I don't think Cody Martin is going to play. So that gives some value there for Jalen McDaniels. In points leagues on ESPN, these guys are all available in 30 or in 70+% of leagues. Number 1 is Precious Achiuwa. The last 2 games for Precious have been exactly why I've been down on him for 3 years. Because he played fewer minutes, he wasn't very good in those minutes, and I thought he'd turn the corner. Maybe he has, but these last 2 games have maybe go, oh no, maybe he's bad again. Maybe that was just a little fluky run of him being better. But with OG out, with his ability to put up okay fantasy points numbers, Precious, with his spot in the starting lineup, I think relatively secure. I think you still use him and grab him and hold him through the deadline. But The long-term viability of Achua. I was ready to admit defeat on saying that he was bad, and maybe I'm going to backtrack a little bit from that now. Got Jaden McDaniels, who's available in a lot of spots. Jaden, that's the Minnesota one. I don't think there was that big fight yesterday between the Magic and the Wolves. I think obviously Mo Bamba's getting suspended. Put it down for 3 games is my guess there. Austin Rivers, I think will get suspended, probably a game. Jalen Suggs is borderline to me. He may or may not get suspended. I'm not sure. But I think there's almost no chance that Taurean Prince or Jaden McDaniels get suspended. I don't know why the hell they were rejected. And there is no chance in my mind that those guys get suspended. Bamba, yes. Rivers, most likely. Suggs, maybe. The other 2, no way. So I think we look at Jaden McDaniels as a good option here. Herb Jones and Trey Murphy in New Orleans, they're available. They're going to have good roles. That's sort of what we want to target here. Same goes for Emmanuel Quickley, Quentin Grimes, and Isaiah Hartenstein in New York, and Aaron Nesmith. So you've got a pretty strong selection of guys available for an ESPN Points League who can be streamed in and used for Sunday's action. I do remind you to go to check out my Week 17 preview video, which I recorded earlier today, reminding you that once Sunday passes, do not make any waiver ads. Do not make any waiver ad that impacts Week 17. Hold on to all your waiver ads. I just summarized that whole video for you. Hold on to all your waiver ads. Please. It's very important. Today's episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. PrizePicks is daily fantasy, but it's not daily fantasy that you might remember. It is not setting lineups with salary caps going up against thousands of people. It's you one-on-one versus player projections. So they might have Jason Tatum at 27.5 points. And you go, this is going to be a big one for Jace. I'm going to go over, go more. They might have Rob Williams at 1.5 blocks. I think Robbie's going to get it going. So I'll say more. And you get 2 to 6 of those individual player projections. You pick which side, put them into a lineup. You can win up to 25 times your entry fee back. You can do that in under 60 seconds. You can do it in over 30 states. You can do it in most Canadian provinces as well. And you can do it for sports that aren't even the NBA. You can do it for the NFL, for the Super Bowl, for the NHL, for the Major League Baseball season, which is upcoming. Women's college basketball, men's college basketball, the upcoming WNBA season. You can do it for cricket, NASCAR, golf, MMA, boxing, disc golf. It's all there. So download the PrizePicks app or go to prizepicks.com to sign up and play daily fantasy sports. First-time users can receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100 with the promo code LOCKEDON. If you deposit $100, PrizePicks will give you $100. If you deposit $50, PrizePicks will give you $50. Don't forget to enter the promo code LOCKEDON at sign up for an instant deposit match up to $100. Let's go to category leagues now. Who are we streaming in the points category to help us get that victory in that category? Quentin Grimes, I think, is worth it. He might have 9 shots, but he might hit 6 of them. It could be 15, 16 points pretty easily there. Not easy to find bulk scorers on the waiver wire. Aaron Nesmith, looking for roles of guys who are playing well and getting strong minutes. That will often correlate to points, and I think Nesmith's in the mix there. I also think Malik Monk. Well, I know Malik Monk is playing better at the moment, and that is obviously helping. And if De'Aaron Fox is out again with paternity leave, Monk's ball handling, but more importantly, his usage, it's going to have to push up because I think we're well aware that Davion Mitchell isn't it. So Monk could have a really big scoring opportunity here. You've got Jalen McDaniels in Charlotte. There's the artist formerly known as Taurean Prince. A couple of reasons for that. I don't think Rivers is going to play. Kyle Anderson hurt his back, so he might not play. So you might get some extended minutes here for Prince. So that's something to watch. There's Najee Marshall. As a solid option in New Orleans as a scorer. He doesn't do much else. He's a good scorer. Tyus Jones might get a few extra minutes with Dylan Brooks out. He might be able to get you 13 to 14 points. It's pretty dry. And then Mark Williams.
Oh, hi, Mark.
In Charlotte, who, again, maybe that's 12, 13 points. It's very hard to find a 20-point per game scorer sitting on the waiver wire. Always remember that. Fantasy draft season, fantasy trades. Always remember that. Very hard to do. 3-pointers. Who are we streaming in here? Grimesy's there. Nesmith's there. We've spoken about them a lot. They are some really strong priority type ads for Sunday. George Niang, one of the better options out there. He played a lot of minutes last game. Played minutes over D'Anthony Melton as well. Played it over Tobias Harris at times. He can hit 7 threes very easily and probably get you 2 to 3 almost every game. So he's a really strong 3 streamer. Gaz Harris in Orlando, especially if Suggs is suspended. Gary should play 28, 29 and hit 3 or 4 threes. He's shooting at like 46% this season. A stupid number. Taurean Prince, we just mentioned. Tyus Jones, Andrew Nembhard. Nembhard's not going to do much, but he might have 8 points with 2 threes or 9 points with 3 threes. And that's where we're looking at. He's hitting those multiple threes. And then Dean Wade, again, not going to do much. He might not score double digits, but he might get 2 or 3 triples in that role of 24, 25 minutes. He's taken Kevin Love out of the rotation, so Wade gets those minutes, and that is something we need to pay attention to when we're just looking at that 3-pointers category. For rebounds, Well, Hartenstein and Sims, I think they're both interesting streams. I'd add Hartenstein over Sims, but as we've said a lot of times, I don't know what Thibodeau's going to do. So it could be Sims that plays 28 minutes and gets 12 rebounds with one shot, but he could get 12 rebounds. So they're both in the mix there to have value, and both of them actually have decent upside. I think Mark Williams is a good rebounds guy. Obviously, Larry Nance can get you double-digit boards. He's had a few of those recently. Xavier T. Illman, I don't think that the cashier starts against Toronto, but 7 boards, 8 boards in 20 minutes, possible. You've got Johnny Concha, who I think will start over Dylan Brooks ahead of Zaire Williams. Williams wasn't even in the rotation last game, so I think John Concha's got an opportunity there. You've got Chris Boucher, who really played well last game for Toronto. It's very hard to trust him, of course, but he seems to be back in the good graces. And then Nesmith's been grabbing some decent amounts of rebounds as well. For assists, this is dry. It's very dry. You're looking at maybe 3 or 4 assists from these guys. There's not much around. It's TJ McConnell. Right? He might play 18 minutes. It seems like that's all he'll play. There's Tyus Jones. Maybe he gets a couple of extra, but I doubt it. There's Andrew Nembhard, who might get 4 or 5. There's ravishing Rick Rubio, who's going to get probably 4 or 5 in a backup role with limited upside. There's Dennis Smith, who's going to again playing in a backup role. There's Jose Alvarado, who might get 3 assists in 18 minutes. There's Malik Monk. That's an interesting one. If De'Aaron Fox is out, Monk's value would rise. I'd maybe consider Mitchell, but man, he's so bad. I'd consider Monk there. And Najee Marshall might get you 3 or 4 as well. It is really, really hard to get assists off the waiver wire on Sunday. It's very, very difficult. Very. Let's look at steals. This isn't quite as hard. A lot of options here. Andrew Nembhard, Johnny Concha. These are 2 to 3 steals players. Dennis Smith's a 5 steal upside guy. Rubio is on that list. Jalen McDaniels can be a 2 to 3 steals guy. Nesmith can be a 2 steals player. There's lots of multiple steals guys available in a lot of different leagues that you can stream in to get those steals. Xavier T. Ullman, also an excellent steals guy as a big man. You don't get many of those big steals players. Think prime Andre Drummond, who used to be an absolute steals monster when he played. Like if Tillman does get the start, there is something about his ability to get steals which would make him more appealing. And then there's Alvarado. We know what he's able to do as well. But as you can tell, lots and lots of different options to get steals off the waiver wire. If you want to steal in terms of protein bars, well, Built Bar's the answer. We all love treats. 100%, we all love them. You can't deny it, right? They taste great. But no one wants to deal with the fallout of so many calories or fat or sugar. We want protein because we want to become jacked specimens. And to do that, you need high protein. But you don't want to be eating something that tastes like a shoe. You want something that tastes great, and that's what Built Bar comes in. 100% real chocolate, covering all of their bars, low in calories, low in fat, low in sugar, but like 17 grams of protein. It's an amazing combination. And now, you don't even have to order them through Built.com. If you're feeling one, you just drive to Walmart, and they're there. Go to the pharmacy section, 4-bar boxes. In cookies and cream flavor, in coconut puff flavor, and in double chocolate. Or, if you're near a Sam's Club, you can get the big box, the 13-bar box. And they've got churro flavor and brownie batter flavor there as well. So you can go to Built.com, order all those fantastic flavors, but also walk into a Walmart, go to a Sam's Club, grab your boxes of Built Bars because Built Bar is built different. Let's stream in some blocks. Quite a few pretty decent options, I think, here. We've got Isaiah Hartenstein and Mark Williams. We've spoken about them a little bit. Jericho Sims as well. Bol is interesting. I don't know whether Wendell Carter's going to play. I do know that Mo Bamba's going to be suspended. So Bol and Mo Wagner become very interesting options here if Wendell happens to be out with that foot issue. Chris Boucher had 3 blocks last game. Nazareth Reed, if Kyle Anderson's out, we saw Chris Finch in the post-game press conference say that he is going to use more Reed and Gobert together if Anderson is out. So that's something to watch. And that would make... Well, Gobert's probably going to get listed questionable anyway with his groin. But if we do have Anderson out, then Reed actually might become a stream option irrespective of Gobert's status. You've got Larry Nance, who's going to get his 23 to 25 minutes. And Quentin Grimes, again, it's a big drop-off. But Grimesy, as a wing player, can get a block. It's desperation stakes if you don't get one of these other guys. But he can get a block. Let's look at field goal percentage streamers. I really like Mark Williams for this. He's a pretty clear ad.
Oh, hi, Mark.
And again, I don't really have any lack of confidence that he's going to play. I'm pretty sure he's going to play. Jericho Sims can be a good field goal guy. Larry Nance. Montrezl Harrell. Now, Embiid has been listed questionable every game. I expect he's going to be listed questionable again. But he played. I am stunned that Embiid played twice against Orlando and once against San Antonio. He's, of course, listed again questionable against the Knicks. I don't think that he's going to sit, but if he does, throw Harrell in there. Or you could try Paul Reed. Bol, a good field goal percentage option. Tillman, he's a pretty good field goal guy. Then we get down to Chemezi Metu, who's not probably going to influence that category a huge amount, but he can be quite good there. And then when you're looking for guards, TJ McConnell, Really good field goal percentage player. For free throw percentage, Aaron Nesmith, really strong out, I think. Malik Monk, Mo Wagner, some really good numbers for Mo. We think if Wendell is out because Bumba won't be there. Gary Harris, Ricky Rubio, Timothy John McConnell, Nembhard, and, don't get to do this one much, Shake Milton. Now, this is the part of the show where I'd normally go into, so what about the first 4 days of next week? What about streaming targets? Who are we looking at? But no, I'm not going to do that because I'm not even going to confuse you. Do not add players to stream them. Stream them for Sunday to finish week 16. Do not add anyone for week 17. Do not make any move for week 17 using your waiver ads for week 17. Do not look ahead to those 4 days. Save them for trades. Save them for trades. And I'm always going to be in favor of streaming apart from this 4-day period. Do not do any streams in this next 4-day period. Got it? If you are desperate and you've got unlimited streams, you can find all this information at Basketball Monster if you remember and find the guys that's stretched in there. But I'm not going to put out information that leads to confusion or give someone even the temptation to, if I just said this guy, look, just hold on to your ads. Just hold on to your ads. And that will do it for me today. Don't forget to follow this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, and on the Odyssey app. And if you're here on YouTube, you thumb it up. You leave those comments down below. Guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.